Someone asks you for a favor, and even before they finish the sentence, you can already feel it, that automatic yes forming in your throat. Not because you actually want to help, not because you have the time or energy, but because saying no feels dangerous somehow. Like they'll think less of you, like you'll come across as selfish or difficult, like the relationship might crack. So you say yes, and then you spend the next 3 days quietly resenting it. If that sounds familiar, I want to talk to you about what's actually going on, and 3 simple things that help you start changing it. Not by becoming cold or selfish, but by learning to be honest in a way that actually makes your relationships better, not worse. People-pleasing doesn't start from a bad place. It usually starts from something pretty human. Wanting connection, wanting to be liked, not wanting to cause problems. The trouble is what it turns into over time. You say yes to things you don't want to do. You take on other people's problems. You shrink your own needs down so there's more room for everyone else's. And at first it kind of works, people are happy with you, there's no conflict, everything feels smooth. But underneath, something else is building. A low-grade resentment. An exhaustion you can't quite explain. A feeling that you're somehow disappearing inside all these relationships, doing all this giving, and nobody really sees how much it costs you. And the hardest part, most of the people in your life have no idea. Because you've never shown them the real cost. You just keep saying yes, keep smiling, keep carrying it. The cycle looks like this. You say yes to everything, you feel overwhelmed, you start to resent the people you're helping, they sense something is off, you double down on being helpful to fix the tension, and you end up feeling even more trapped. The fix isn't becoming selfish, it's learning to say no to some things, so that when you do say yes, it actually means something. The first thing that helps is deceptively simple. Stop answering immediately. Most people pleasers say yes in the moment, because that's when the social pressure is highest. Someone is right there, looking at you, waiting. And the discomfort of that pause feels unbearable. So you fill it with yes before you've even had a chance to think about whether you actually want to. The 24-hour rule just creates a gap between the ask and your answer. When someone asks for your time or energy, you say something like, "Thanks for thinking of me, let me check and get back to you." Or, "I want to give you a proper answer, can I come back to you tomorrow?" That's it. You're not saying no, you're not committing to anything, you're just buying yourself time to actually think. And in that 24 hours, you ask yourself 3 honest questions. Do I actually want to do this? Do I have the capacity right now? Does this fit with what I'm trying to prioritize? Often the answer becomes obvious once you're out of the hot seat. And sometimes you'll realize you actually do want to help, which means your yes is real, not just automatic. That's a completely different thing. The pause is everything. Most people-pleasing happens in the 2 seconds between the ask and your mouth opening. Step 2 is about how you actually say no when you've decided that's your answer. A lot of people-pleasers over-explain. They feel like a simple no isn't enough, that they need to justify it, apologize for it, make sure the other person understands they're still a good person. So they give long, complicated explanations that often end up sounding like excuses, which invites the other person to argue with them. Here's the thing. A clear, kind no doesn't need a paragraph. Some phrases that actually work. That won't work for me right now. I'm going to pass, but thanks for thinking of me. I need to keep my focus on my own stuff at the moment. Let me know if something changes on your end. Short, warm. No long explanation, no apology for having a limit. These will feel awkward the first few times. That's normal. You've probably spent years doing the opposite, so your body is going to flag this as dangerous even when it isn't. The discomfort doesn't mean you're doing something wrong, it means you're doing something new. Practice them out loud when you're on your own. Seriously, say them in the mirror or in the shower. The more familiar they feel in your mouth, the easier they come out when you actually need them. Step 3 is for the specific situation a lot of people pleasers get stuck in. When someone comes to you with a problem and you feel this pull to fix it for them. Someone tells you about their situation, and almost instantly you're already mentally solving it. Taking it on. Carrying it home with you. Lying awake, thinking about their problem as if it's yours. This comes from a good place, but it's not actually helping them as much as you think. and it's quietly draining you. There's a middle ground between dropping everything to fix someone's problem and doing nothing at all. It sounds like this. Have you tried talking to someone who specializes in that? What have you already looked into? I think there's a resource that might be really useful. Let me send it to you. Who else in your life might have experience with this? You're still caring. You're still engaged. You're just not making their problem your responsibility to solve. You're pointing them towards solutions instead of becoming the solution yourself. This takes practice, especially if you're someone who gets a sense of worth from being needed. But over time, it actually improves your relationships because you stop burning out and the people in your life learn to be a little more resourceful too. Here's what I want you to try this week. The next time someone asks something of you, before you answer, use the 24-hour rule. Just say you'll get back to them. Give yourself the space to actually think about it. If your answer is no, pick one of the simple phrases and use it. No long explanation, just clear and kind. And if someone brings you a problem, try redirecting instead of taking it on. Ask them what they've already tried. Point them somewhere useful. Stay caring without carrying it home. You don't have to do all of this perfectly. Just try one piece of it once. See how it feels. Most people pleasers are terrified that saying no will cost them their relationships. But usually what actually damages relationships is the resentment that builds when you keep saying yes to things you don't mean. Honesty, delivered kindly, is almost always received better than you expect. If this kind of stuff resonates, setting limits without guilt, building real confidence, learning to show up for yourself without losing the people you care about. That's what this channel is about. Subscribe if you want more of it. And when you've said no to something this week, even once, even small, come back and drop a comment that just says, "I said no today." That tells me something shifted. And that's where it starts.